So now we jump into the hands-on part of the course, and here we will build a simple weather app. We will not follow the best practice. The idea is to go as easy as possible for beginners. So I will mix some concepts to show them all, like how to use CSS, and then in some components I will teach how to use the styled components that came to change the way you use CSS. So we have both mixed on this app. I will show how to use the routing system to navigate between pages. I will create nested components so we can see how to send the application state between the components. One suggestion, if you are interested in learning more, is to refactor the code, taking better decisions and implement other features. This video is part of the January Guild.js meeting, so if you didn't participate on that meeting, I strongly encourage you to stop now and watch the recording first, because I will not explain in too many details some constructions we'll be doing. And by that said, I have a clear folder here, so in my file system, and I will use the npx command. Not sure if you are aware of, but in the version 5.3 of npm, if I'm not mistaken, uh, this is a good way to, I don't need to install the global dependencies in my computer. I can use it online from the npm repository using npx, and I will use it to call the create react app command for create the boilerplate of our application. So create react app. So previously, before the version 5.3 of the npm, we have to first install this command globally and then run it. But now we can just fire from use the npx, and here the name of our application is something like JS React Weather, like so. Okay. So it will take some time to install. Oh, and by the way, we don't need to install anything special in our computer, as much as we have a code editor and we have Node and the npm versions 5.3 or later. Okay. Uh, it suggests to use Yarn. Yarn is kind of a concurrence for npm. I will use npm all the time. I don't. We don't have to install Yarn or use Yarn. Okay. Almost there. Start some dependencies. Oh, by the way, the Create React app encapsulates the Webpack and a lot of things behind the scenes, so it makes easier to start a project. Maybe this is not a good way for us that we already have the application if we decide to use it for instance, on Proposify or any other project we start. But anyways, so it's done. I can access the project folder and open my code editor, and here we are. So the basic instructions I have already explained it on the meeting. If you didn't participate on that meeting, I recommend you to watch the record. So what I will do, I will delete everything we have here on the app.js. I will use app.js as the router component. So this component will decide which screen or which page we will load, and every page I will create a file. So let's create a folder here called, for instance, pages, and also have another one for components. Okay, just for organize the structure here. Okay, but let's see what is happening now. I will use npm start, and let's see. Starting server. Let me bring my browser here. And on localhost 3000, we'll see the default boilerplate. Okay, here you go. So logo, some text, an URL, whatever. So this is what we are gonna delete. So I don't need the logo anymore. So let me delete the logo. I don't use this app CSS. Let me delete it as well. By delete them, I can come here app CSS and delete this guy. And the logo, yeah, delete this guy as well. Okay, and let me just use it as a React, so import React from React this way, and come on, delete everything here. And just to make sure that it's still working, I put a hello one and just a hello. Save, go to browser, and this is an audio, not current one. And here we have the hello. Okay, so the application, I will create some, as I mentioned, I will create some different components. You have a header, a search bar, so you can type the seat name. We want to get the weather forecast. We will have the current weather for today and the forecast for the next following days. So basically those four components in a single page. And let's do that. I will start creating here a component called header.js. And well, to create a component in React is very simple. We have just a few steps that we need to make sure we are following. So first one is to import the React library. So import React from React. Oops, autocomplete, come on. Okay, then I will create a const with the same name of the file just for reference. So header, and it is an arrow function that will render something. So for now, let's just render a header one called header just to see which is the component we are rendering. And last part is to export default this component, the function. Okay, so yeah, just by doing that, now we have a React component. Oh, sorry, it's not render, it's return. Mistake. Okay, so basically three parts here: import React, create the component as an arrow function, and the component must return some JSX content, and then we need to export default this component. Okay, basically this is what we need to do. Now I will import this component on the app.js just to make sure that it is working. And to do that, I just need to use header and close, and of course I need to import this component here. So import header from, and since this is our component, we start with the dot slash. It's on the components folder slash header. Okay, this is it. Let me open the browser, and now we have hello and probably the header below that. Okay, fine. So this is very odd. Why the header is after the hello? So this is why. Oh, come on, sorry. This is why we basically create a page to control to aggregate the components. So I will create here a page called weather.js. And so basically, again, import React from React, then post weather equals to an arrow function that so far we are not receiving any parameter. That's why the arrow function is empty here. Must return something. I like the idea of returning the name of the component, so we make sure that it's working. And we need to export the full weather. Okay, and here on the app.js, I will start returning only this component, the weather, so far, until we get the moment. And let me delete this, so don't need to have the header anymore. Until we have the halter, this is the only component that the app needs to take care of. So we are returning it directly here. Let me save it. And on the weather, you will then create a div. Remember, I can't return two elements altogether. React must return a single element that can have more nested elements, but at the end they need to return only a single element. So that is a trick we can use here. This is called fractal, so I can do something like that. And here I can return, for instance, my header. Need to import header here. And dot slash sorry, I am on the pages, so dot slash component slash header, and now I can use the header and the h1 here. So again, let's refresh the page, and here we go. We have the header and we have the component that is my my page. Okay, very good. Next step, I will just create, well, of course the header has not too much to add in so far. The idea on the header is to show the name of the city and the current date. Just make to explain how we kind of pass information from one component to another. So far, just saying header, it's fine. Next step is to create the search bar. It's also, I will create as a new component. So here, let's say search bar.js. Same thing here, import React from React, search bar equals to arrow function that will return something. That's returning again search bar, and I need to export default search bar like so. Save it, see if there is an error. I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. And let me import this component here. Search bar from components slash, oops, yeah, there is an error. Oh yes, I created the component in the wrong place. Go here, check that. Yeah. Slash search bar. Okay, now doing the correct import. I have the component here. I can just use right now search bar, so no parameters. And yeah, so just review. I have the app.js, it will be my router very soon. When I'm rendering the first page by default. I don't have one page so far, so I'm rendering the weather page. The weather imports two different components and is rendering them here. First the header, then the search bar, and then the content of the component itself. The header so far is very simple component that returns just header one, and the same for search bar. But what is wrong here? Let me check. Let me do it. Oh, it's farm, not from. Yeah, okay. That's why. And here, sorry for that. It's working now. If I go to my browser and refresh, okay. Now I have the header, search bar, and the weather component. Okay, so I will stop for a moment here and we return in the next video, making the search bar more useful. See you in a second.